According to his wife, he will literally go to the refrigerator and start munching on a bar of butter. Is that true, Steve?
Yeah,
that's true.
Might change the history of a state, which might change the history of a nation.
And I feel for the residents that live there. But she made a comment about how their property value was going to go down and what it was going to do to their streets, and their sidewalks are terrible. Well, Jan Quillman, you've been on the city council for 20 years. What have you done to make sure that those sidewalks have gotten taken care of? Obviously nothing.
Welcome to part 2 of Around Will County. Steve Nelson from Nelson's Furniture, Nellie's, and Route 66 Old School Brewing rejoins the crew. And a very special guest appearance by IT herself, Diane Egan, without which this podcast could not be possible. Please remember to do us a favor, like and subscribe, and please leave us a comment to at least let us know what you think. Now on to part 2 of Steve Nelson Returns again.
Steve, what do we have here? What's this right here in front of me that I'm reaching for?
I don't know. My wife made it, so that's why I brought it to see if you could test it.
We did find out something about Steve Nelson today. He has a fascination with butter.
Butter addiction.
Yes. According to his wife, he will literally go to the refrigerator and start munching on a bar of butter. Is that true, Steve?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so I'm going to try
No problem at all.
Yeah. I'm going to try this.
I usually push food off on other people first to see how things go.
Because she's been waiting to get you. Put that down, Jim.
She made 3 loaves of these, and she gave me one to bring here. Yeah. So I switched that one out with the one she said
for you. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So I know I got the good one at home. So
it does have a little bit of a lemon arsenic flair to it. I don't know. So IT, how many people are up for Senate in Illinois?
Looks like 18.
18 out of how many?
I don't know.
It says 157.
That sounds like a lot.
Like enough.
Okay.
Oh, no.
150 losers.
Isn't that troubling that it even takes that long to find? You would think this resource would be a little more readily available. Huh. Who knows?
Have you ever tried to get a map of the districts of Will County?
Well, good luck with that.
Oh, my gosh.
Good luck.
It's an embarrassment.
Yeah. Good luck with that. You better have a half hour with
website. You got to have whatever. Nobody has a
yeah.
map.
Try.
It's like stealing elections.
Yeah.
Who's the best thief on stealing elections? Which party?
Oh,
Right now, the Democrats are doing a pretty good job in Illinois.
Tina, great stuff. We need more of this every time we do a podcast, please. So
You're safe to eat it now, Steve. Yeah. Jim's still alive.
I'm going to wait.
give it about 10, 15. No, the poppy?
Poppy seeds.
Well,
Okay.
we better wait because they'll have me in there tomorrow. I can assure you.
Depending upon the sensitivity of the test.
Mhm.
We can determine whether it's synthetic or natural coming from that, but that takes extra testing.
Huh.
If you don't do, that just turns positive.
She gets her poppy from, I think, Afghanistan.
Yeah. Somalia. No.
Yeah, she's got relatives there.
Speaking of Somalia, did you see up there, and some of this probably have to be edited, but correct me, Omar? Ihan? Omar? Okay. Before coming out here today, they finally done what we've all asked for years and started looking at tax returns.
There you go.
5 years ago, net worth minus $6,000. 5 years ago. Today, $35 million above in 5 years. Huh.
She's an entrepreneur.
She's an entrepreneur. Yes. Well, yeah. But,
It's allowed to take place.
enough talk. I hope we start seeing some people in handcuffs. That's what I hope for. Kind of tired of hearing about it.
Yep.
Let's see some people locked up.
Then deport her ass on top of it.
After she does her 12, 15 years for stealing Illinois taxpayer or
Minnesota federal money.
Yeah. Taxpayer money.
Taking federal money.
Then take her house, take her cars, take her bank account, take it all back, get all of our money back, and throw her ass in jail. And then when she's out, throw her ass back to Somalia, see how she likes it there.
100%. Dick, you want to try some?
I'm waiting to see
All right.
how long you sit in that chair without falling out.
These are my friends.
Steve and I,
These are my friends here.
we love Tina.
Uh-huh.
When she gets upset with somebody.
Tina, I
oh,
trust
my
you.
goodness.
Yeah, Tina,
She likes Jim.
Oh, I'm just teasing.
Yeah, she's a smart girl.
I think part of the problem there is you have to have critical thinking in order to
True.
see the wheat from the chaff and to see this viewpoint versus this viewpoint. Which one actually makes sense? Which one defies the laws of physics and which one is common sense?
So is that the division in politics right now? Do we actually have people who could see the same thing two different ways?
Absolutely 100%.
Like the gray dress on Facebook. Some people saw it gray, some people saw it blue. Smart.
I had an interesting conversation today with somebody that lives out your way. Now that I've got a
Jim's
little
way?
bit more time
Oh, my way.
to do stuff, I'm getting to the point where I have to find something to do, so instead of getting up every day and looking at the furniture store or something, I go, okay, I got to go down. I got to go do. I got to do something. They've kicked me and Tina pretty much out of there, going, you guys got to stay the hell out of here. So I started either building stuff, fixing stuff, or now I want to go find some stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So I found, actually, it's a relative of my son Aaron's wife. He has been looking for artifacts around Will County his whole life. He grew up in New Lenox. He was a contractor. Every time he'd build a house or was working on a subdivision or whatever he was doing, he was always had his face to the ground wherever he was digging. And through his life, he has found huge numbers of not so much fossils, but Indian artifacts, tomahawk heads, you name it, he's found it all over the county, even going out in the Grundy, wherever they had work, he was always looking. And he said when they were younger during the winter, since he was in construction, he said they had nothing to do. He said, well, we just grab a bunch of beer and just drive around all these back roads wherever they knew, like the Mazon River and the creeks. And he said, there's things to look for. And he was giving me tips and he was showing me around his house, different things that he's found through the years and mostly in farm fields,
Sure.
And one of the things he had brought up, how, farmers don't seem to disc like they used to, spring, fall, they disc up the dirt. And he said, that's when you can find them. He said, you go out
They
in the
don't plow
spring
like they used to.
and they, do the deep old disc jobs that they used to, where they just roll the dirt over. And after a rain, he said they would go out in these, I don't want to say where, because there's all kinds of good spots, but they would find lots of them after the farmers would be in the fields working and finding areas around creeks and rivers, any place that we would like to live. They live the same areas, where you're not going to get flooded, but you had water close, you had game, you had forests, anything high above water sources where rivers and creeks come together. Use your head.
Sure.
Wherever you would like to live, they did the same thing. And that's what he would look for. And so he was giving me all kinds of tips, and he's old enough now that he isn't able to go out and do it anymore. So he goes, when you get back to South Carolina, I'm going to take you around through the different counties and show you where I have found some stuff. And it was very interesting to me to learn just how much is here. He said, it's unbelievable the amount of Native American artifacts that are here. They're everywhere that you would not think about. I was telling him I was on a baseball field on the Wilmington Island. When I was coaching kids, and I was kicking around the dirt one day and found an arrowhead down there. He said, "Oh, the Wilmington Island down there was a hotbed. That's where they were at."
I found a stagecoach when I was a kid.
Are you kidding me? Just
it had a stagecoach, the remnants of it. I mean, and when I say remnants, I'm not talking just like an axle or something. It was actually a stagecoach, but it had evidently been trying to ford a stream and didn't make it. And then hard telling how many years it had been there, but we had a flood and the creek, larger volume of water uncovered the balance of it, floated it downstream. And myself and a couple of my buddies, we were young, like 15 years old, whatever, and found it. I found on my own place.
Did you get any of the parts of it out?
No, when you're 12, 15 or whatever it was, but I found fossils in my own creek. Normally I always thought it's always got to be down by Carbon Hill or Coal City.
Mazon River.
Yeah, Mazon River. But you know what? I had my grandson, and he went in the creek and brought some. He said, "Hey, what's this?" And I'm like, "It's a fossil." And I'm like, "Oh my God!" You never think of fossils being up farther north. You always think of them down in the coal country, but they're all
here.
over.
I found
You just got to look.
a fossil femur, the top part of a femur bone.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, in a creek, just kicking around one day and looked down. And said, "Oh, that looks like a bone," And when I picked it up, it was stone. It was a fossil.
Molly
Found it in the creek.
Yeah.
Molly Zelko.
Oh, what?
Molly Zelko.
He's too far south for that.
That's-
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
She was back in the 60s.
50s, late 50s. Yeah.
She was
I don't
For the Spectator was the
got
newspaper.
a little too close to organized crime, and all of a sudden she was.
Allegedly.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And people have been looking for her ever since, much like Jimmy Hawk.
Jimmy Hawk?
Huh?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, she said when she knew she had enemies from some of her reporting, and she left word with the family that if something ever happens to me and I'm taken, and I didn't want to be taken, I'll leave my shoes there. And they found her shoes when she came out of the Spectator. I think it was down off of Ottawa Street someplace. Was it by the old Al Baskins?
Before my time.
Oh, I am a little older, I guess. But I remember that. And I better watch what I say here because some of the people are still alive.
A little claim to fame. When I was in my undercover organized crime unit, we did some ground penetrating radar on a lot in Joliet looking for Molly. She was not located, obviously, but they are still looking every now and then. They'll get a tip. They'll follow up on that.
And how long ago was that?
When I looked,
No, when she
when
disappeared?
Molly, when she disappeared, let's find that out. I'm with you. I think it had to be back in the late 50s.
I think the late John Whiteside from the
Remember
Joliet
John?
News
Yeah.
used to follow that story,
Mm-hmm.
and he'd keep bringing it up. Actually, one of the people she was reporting on, which I won't mention the name, he had, a criminal element to him, and he never did anything until I heard this from several businessmen up there. When Molly made comments about his wife, all of a sudden this guy went from being, Mr. Nice Guy to being who he really was. And that's who they believe, took her down. Now, do you do it personally or have his guys do it for him? Who knows?
September 25th, 1957. And I just stumbled across an article that was done by John Farrock, May 15th, 2025. I did not know that after Trump released or opened up all the executive orders, that there were several hundred pages of the FBI regarding Molly Zelko.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and the Joliet Historical Society is trying to get those. I don't know. Maybe.
Was Clinton involved in that one?
Bill Clinton. It was a woman, so Lord only knows. He might have had his hand in there somewhere, so to speak.
I'm not going to touch it.
No? Okay. All right.
Yeah, we lost our governor, our former governor, Bruce Rauner, moved to Florida. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So he couldn't. Why did he move? Taxes were too high.
I don't know. I think he's just following the rest of the crew. Yeah, I can afford to live elsewhere. Why am I here?
Or like most people, a lot of the public sector workers, I find, when they retire, they take their retirement money with them.
Sure.
No.
Florida is absolutely full of Chicago or Illinois police, firemen.
Sure.
They're all down in Florida. I mean, there's whole areas where you go down there. Every other house is somebody that was in law enforcement or fire department somewhere, and they retire to Florida. They get the heck out of it. And you go down their streets and you see the flags just flying, down the streets where they all live. They all go to the same bars, So I think it's one of those things where one of them moves and calls back home and says, "It's really awesome down here." I'll be down. They all retire and they all go down into the same areas like Kanab.
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Family. Right, Dick?
Yep. Roots. It's roots.
Yeah.
I mean, where you grew up, it's, even if your family weren't there, your grade school, high school friends, people you've met over the years, you'd miss them.
Yeah. 100%. So IT, did I hear we have 39 open seats for the Senate and there's 59 and 39 are up for election?
15
State reps?
for up for election. Einhardt.
115. I don't know. I think we're going to have to do our homework here and have an answer.
I think it's the reps are every
2 years?
I thought they're on a cycle.
I think they're on a cycle too.
Some that are on
2
the
and 4.
senators.
Mhm.
senators on a cycle 2, 4, and
yep.
6,
Yep.
and then the
You're right.
representatives.
Boy, we're going to sit up here and talk politics.
Has a constitution test.
Yeah.
in 8th grade.
I mean, they teach us that stuff in grade school.
Yeah.
I need a refresher.
But if we're going to talk politics, we better polish up on that. You would think we would know that number, right?
Has an 8th grade constitution
Yeah.
test.
I don't think they even teach it anymore.
It should be a requirement. Used to be.
Used to be.
What's that?
Is it still like a civics test kind of thing where you have to know?
8th grade.
Constitution.
Get out of 8th grade, you used to have to pass it.
And I think we had another one in high school.
That was
there
back
was,
when
there was
Lincoln
2 in
and I
high
went to
school that you had to
Yeah.
pass.
Optional.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of schools. I'm not sure exactly what all Wilmington does, but I know a lot of them, they don't require any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You don't even have to do it. I don't know.
A little different.
I think now it's more, they want to make sure that you know which of the 60 different genders you are, that you can name all the 60 different genders.
It seems more important, doesn't it?
Sadly enough, even at Minooka grade school, I've heard from people that have children going there that, they're encouraged to let the teachers know.
How they want to be addressed.
Yes.
I,
And don't worry about it. We won't tell your parents.
If you want to be called a tree frog, they'll call you a tree frog. Hit me.
You're a tree frog. Hey, why not? What the hell? I don't know. I couldn't help but think the other day,
Sorry.
I'm talking about me personally in life. You grew up working hard and then, you get older and you want to provide for your children and take care of your children. And definitely, I think the younger generation has a lot more things available to them than we did. And I still want to believe there's a vast majority of younger generation out there that sees what's happening and understands what's happening. And, the they and them that you read about in the paper, which whatever, if that's your gig, that's your gig. I don't think that's the majority. I'm hoping, that.
No, but it is tail wagging.
Is that starting to change?
Not if you watch the evening news.
Yeah.
And that's another thing.
That's another thing.
The media.
I didn't mean to open up this can of worms.
The media anymore.
Well, we discovered that using artificial intelligence is it draws on the resources that are out there, and it's definitely a liberal-based web right now. Resource.
Depends upon which.
Oh, are you going to try to defend Grok?
No, but if Gemini has gotten way better in the past 6 months.
Yeah.
I mean, OpenAI has actually they called a code red at OpenAI because they became too complacent.
Liberal.
OpenAI ChatGPT, the answers and the conversations that they were getting were trying to placate the person talking to them and being as nice as possible.
Yeah.
And that's not the real world. That's not the real answer.
No.
Whereas some of the other ones, Claude, Grok, the other ones will research it. And this is the truth. As
they know it.
Ben Shapiro said, facts don't care about your feelings.
Yeah.
These are the facts. So we're not trying to make you feel good. We're trying to give you the facts.
All right. So as much as that makes me uncomfortable that we're relying on, this artificial intelligence to research history, because going forward, I can assure you the children are relying on that artificial intelligence more and more to educate themselves. Are we setting ourselves up for a
Fake
false
news.
future? Yeah.
Fake
Yeah,
information.
and you brought up news. You're exactly right. News, right?
I
Can't
mean,
we just get the damn truth? Where's
Yeah.
the Walter Cronkite of 2026?
Well, I think you have to see three different sources and then take the best source that you can.
I watch both, and then I kind of just go down the middle somewhere.
Or do your own research.
Well,
Or qualify.
It's all again coming back to where are you getting the information?
Where are you getting it from?
Who fed it?
Yeah.
Who put the information in there?
Yeah.
Did they give you the right? It's like when you go on Facebook, you don't know what the hell. Anybody can write whatever the hell they want, throw it out
Yeah.
there. You
If
don't
it's
know
on
what it is.
Facebook, it's solid. That's the
yeah.
way it is. I've never found anything on Facebook that wasn't true. Right? Yeah.
The word
So-
allegedly is going to be used more and more frequently
Yeah.
with AI.
Which kind of bridges the gap to the next logical extension of, okay, nobody watches, anybody under the age of 30 doesn't watch TV. Anybody under the age of, and I know I'm
What? Looking at your wife? You don't want to say this? What?
offending IT. A lot of people don't read the newspaper anymore.
Nobody. Very few. And it's only because we're older.
She does. Yes.
I do.
How
via
do you
the
get
internet.
information out to the public?
We are in the older
Without
category.
I guess so. Steve.
Yeah.
You're not followed, because unless you are followed on X or you're followed on Facebook or followed on Instagram, you're not going to get Darren Bailey, no matter how much or how good of a candidate he is or how much money he has. If he can't get eyeballs to see his message or ears to hear his
Right.
message, it's a message falling on
No errors.
fallow ground.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
one thing, when we live up here, it's a little different. If you leave, this part of the state and you go just a little bit further south of here, you lose the Chicago news.
Yeah.
So then you're getting it out of Champaign, or if you go over here, you're getting it out of Peoria. So you're getting the news from a whole different views.
More
depending on
credible?
where you know what? Like Champaign, I think
people want.
Champaign, if you ever look at the map where Democrats are heavy vote, it's Champaign's University of Illinois. So, there's a crap load of liberals down there. So they're feeding the news out of there. The central Illinois is getting, Urbana is the same thing. They're getting news out of there. Peoria, because it's the heavier populations. That's where the news is coming from. And those are where most of the liberals and Democrats are all piled at.
Yeah.
So you wonder just how much good information you're even getting out of some of those sources.
You don't mind if it's a liberal source, as long as it's a credible source.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what it's about.
Just tell
It's
us
a good
the
point.
truth.
It's a good point.
Whether
Yeah.
it be podcast or whatever the vehicle, who can I trust to give me what they truly believe is true? Now, they're going to make mistakes once in a while. That happens. But if they truly believe they're telling you the truth, then I'll consider that a credible source until I find out otherwise.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of like with your newscasters, your television stations. News Nation is at one of them on TV that I've turned to a couple times, and they actually had one of the Cuomos, who was previously a liberal, but he seems to have switched. Of course, you switch based on who's paying your paycheck, probably, but he comes across.
He's a
It's
little more
incredible.
centered now than he was.
He's more centered. Yeah, exactly. And that's all you want. Let me form my own opinion. Give me the facts. I may not like them, but I'll appreciate them. And then let us make our own decision.
I think part of the problem there is you have to have critical thinking in order to
True.
see the wheat from the chaff and to see this viewpoint versus this viewpoint. Which one actually makes sense? Which one defies the laws of physics and which one
Yep.
is common sense?
So is that the division in politics right now? Do we actually have people who could see the same thing two different ways?
Absolutely 100%.
Like the gray dress on Facebook. Some people saw it gray, some people saw it blue. The shooting in Minnesota with the ICE officer, literally two people side by side. One
Yeah.
said, "Oh, totally justified." And the other one said, "Oh, totally unjustified."
Yeah.
And maybe there's a little of both.
Yeah. Well, can there be both?
The truth is sometimes in the middle.
Now there's 3 stories.
Yeah.
But depending on how that story is presented to you.
Well, that's what we rely on, is people presenting the story.
Just like you said a little bit ago with that 5-year-old child that the news said.
Arrested.
Yeah, arrested. ICE took him into custody. And then you watch another newscast, it would at least give you the proper story. The guy fled. The woman that was there wouldn't take custody of the child. She left too. She didn't want to have anything to do with it. So what are the ICE officers going to do with that child? If there's not, they can't just leave them with anybody. They have to take.
Yeah, a school teacher came forward. They could have given me that child. Sure. Who the hell are you?
Yeah,
You're a school teacher. We don't know who the hell you are, right? Yeah.
Do that.
No.
And those guys did exactly what I'm sure they were trained to do.
Yeah.
Take that kid into custody, make sure that child is safe, take them somewhere where they can be taken care of, figure out who actually has custody of that child. If that was the real dad, if that was the real mom, let's get before we release that kid to somebody.
And I don't know if it's true, kind of what we're talking about. I don't know if it's true or not, but on the Late Show last night, they said they took it to the house of the mother and she refused the child.
That's what I had heard too.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's that, right? If that's true, there's that, right? I don't know what type of situation we're talking about, but
it's all bad. But when they come out on the news and knowingly just lie. They lie just to try to make it so they all hate Trump. Let's make Trump and everybody look bad. That's where the problem. That's where the problem is with the news. People don't trust it now because they're lying to you all the time. You don't know who to trust. Who do you trust anymore?
Do you trust J.B. Pritzker?
If J.B. Pritzker told me that he'd give me $1 million and they would invest it for me so I can make $40 million if I voted for him, I'd probably say, yeah, I trust him with that. But as far as going on a daily basis, whatever comes out of his mouth, he doesn't care. He lies about everything.
So he lies. You trust J.B. Pritzker?
I know a lady that used to work for the Pritzker family. I won't mention a name. And even members of his own family probably wouldn't cast a vote for him. Now, I'm sure there's other members of family that would. But
that's because they get money from him.
Yeah.
You trust J.B. Pritzker?
I believe that J.B. Pritzker chooses his words so carefully that when he talks, you have to dissect what he's saying to see what the actual truth is.
So is that back to that
problematic
intellectual thinking you were talking about?
Yes.
And when people don't have that ability?
If you don't have the ability to critically think, have some ability to think logically. Yeah, you can be hornswoggled.
Is Illinois going to vote him back in?
Absolutely, 100%.
Illinois going to vote him back in?
My head says yes. My heart says no.
If
Illinois going to vote him back in?
Oh yeah.
So what?
The Republicans can't come up with somebody that is legit that they think can make the changes. The people in Chicago and the people who already voted for him, he sucked in his first 4 years, and they voted him in anyway. When they knew he was terrible, he was already taxing them. And they just don't want a Republican in there that bad. They just will not vote for somebody they don't think is going to help them out. And if they think JB is going to still continue to try to help them, maybe, and there's nobody else out there, they're going to vote for him.
Yeah.
I believe that there's something, maybe tech support could look it up.
She's been kind of disappointing so far.
Poly markets?
I got the look. I got the look.
No, wait a second. No,
she gone.
Please come back.
The snacks are much better this podcast too, I want to point out.
It's called Poly Markets, and you can look up almost anything. You can look up what are the chances that the Bears will win this next year, or what are the chances.
There's a website like that now where you can vote on it.
Yeah, and you can bet on it.
Bet on it, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's called Poly Market. Just look up Poly Markets for the next gubernatorial election in Illinois.
Just look where all the people are at and who voted them in last time. And those company or the TV, radio, anything in that area is all run by the Democrats. So that message will get out there. If you got to say a solid Republican candidate, and if they don't have enough money to get their word out there on the Channel 5s, the Channel 7, Chicagoland area, and be somebody that can go out there and really make the point that I can do something for you. I can change. Look at all that's gone bad here. And just because I'm a Republican doesn't mean I'm going to forget you. I want to do this for the state. This is what I'm running on. And if you can get that message out there, they'd have a shot.
Well, I think the other problem here is we've lost how many different big companies?
Yeah.
So how many votes does the company have as the governor? 0.
Oh, the company itself, no.
It has 0.
Yeah.
But all the people that work there
Sure.
now all of a sudden are out of a job.
Yeah.
What do they need? They need handouts.
Yeah.
A lot of them moved. They went with the company.
Yeah. So I think what I have most concerned about that little conversation right there is people will stay home because they don't think it matters if they vote, especially Republicans.
Here we go.
And I think that's a problem.
I know a lot of people like that. Why would I bother to go vote? I know I'm not. My vote doesn't count.
But we need to change that, right? I mean, and I'm hoping we're going into a cycle where we can change that, because people do have to get out. They do have to vote, and they do have to try to make a difference. Because if you don't, we're spiral.
Anger.
How much
will make
are you
that
willing
happen.
to bet on the Republican winning the next gubernatorial election?
So
I'll tell you what Polymarkets thinks.
I think I saw it already.
The Republican has a 6% chance.
Wow.
Wow.
That's even much worse than I thought it would be.
All right. So tell me, how do we motivate the Republican base?
I think you have to get somebody
have the right
Somebody like a Mike Ditka or someone. Seriously,
go.
I mean, you do
Mike
like somebody that has got the recognition, the
Yeah.
name recognition, facial recognition that people have look up to, respect, admire, because he can sway people. Now they don't want to get involved.
You'd
I don't
have to
blame
be
them.
silly to want the job, though, if you're Mike.
Yeah,
Well,
he's too smart.
That's
yeah, he's
true.
too smart.
I mean,
yeah.
it's like you're a sacrificial lamb, but look what you've done. You might change the history of a state, which might change the history of a nation.
Yes. Yeah.
But it
You
takes
can't-
that person.
You can bet on the. You can.
I could throw $100 down on the Republican candidate.
7 cents, but but you can put in $100.
You know what, though, Doc? I'll bet you if you'd have asked that same app 10 or 15 years ago what the chances of a billionaire real estate magnate coming in and winning the presidency, it'd probably be about 6% too.
Yeah,
And,
yeah, good point. Good point.
point.
Now, Steve, I do got to bring something up real quick. My stomach's starting to hurt a little bit.
It's good thing you got a doctor right
Doc,
next to you.
can we get that bed bag out of the house? And,
Good thing you didn't have any, Steve.
yeah, just a little uncomfortable down there. I don't know. Yeah.
I've been married a long time.
Yeah, all right. I've learned. I know, but we got to get the Republican base out to vote. And that, how do you do that? And that goes back to what you're talking about. You can't put an ad in the newspaper. You can't go out. I remember when I first started with the Republican Party, it was you got to go door to door. You got to knock doors. Yeah, that's not happening. You're not going to knock on enough doors. People don't want you knocking on their door. People will not come to the door. People will tell you to, shoo you away. Knocking doors. I'm not saying it don't have a time and a place, but it's not going to make any type of difference. So how do you get the Republican base just to come out and vote?
They get to the point where, how do you influence people? What gets their attention? Your pocketbook is one. Safety of your kids and your spouse is another.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the anger issue, people get to the point where, what was it? Network was the movie. I'm mad as hell and I won't take it anymore. And that's what's going to have to take place.
And we're not there yet?
Or
Yeah, really.
they vote for the socialists, like in New York.
We'll see how that works out.
They vote for the socialism in California. They vote for socialism in Minnesota,
Virginia.
New York, and
That
Virginia.
governor of Virginia they just select, and she was out there because I was getting a lot of that in South Carolina because it's close to them, so they follow all that really tight. She was running like down the middle. She was in the middle. She was this. As soon as she got elected, that speech you watched the other night, she's so far left and socialist, it's crazy. She's trying to pass the most ridiculous bills in the world. She wasn't running on all of that.
Mm-hmm.
She knew that the rest of the state, there was a portion of the state knew who she was, and she was lying like crazy to get people to
Get in
that were
office,
in the
and
middle,
then you can't
folks,
get
and
me
say,
out.
bang. As soon as she got in there, woof, and she just threw them all underneath the wagon and said, "Oh yeah, we're passing all kinds of gun laws, crazy. I mean, crazy stuff." Did you see her speech or see anything on it?
No.
Go look on
Where is
YouTube. I'm
Virginia?
sure it's
Is that
on
a
it.
state somewhere? I don't even know where Virginia is.
I would have thought that would be a state. It's a lot of rule, and a lot of woods. People own guns, they hunt, but I think it's probably like every other state. It's fairly rural, and you got a couple of big cities that
Dominate.
run the whole show. And she was lying like crazy all over the place. As soon as she got in there, man, she changed complete different direction. She wants to ban guns. She wants this. I mean, it was just crazy. You look at it and you're going, how did anybody vote for this lady?
And how do
But
we
she
get rid
wasn't
of it?
saying half
Yeah.
of it. Yeah, they got 4 years. They're stuck with her now.
Yeah.
Virginia isn't most of the population centered around DC.
A lot of it is.
So that's
Yeah. A lot of the people who work in DC, they live in Virginia.
Maryland, West
And
Virginia.
they also have the problem with is it Loudoun County, where they allow the guys to go in the girls' bathroom. Girls.
I wouldn't. When you listen to what these people say, you just sit there and go, how can they possibly have elected somebody who would do these things? But they're doing it.
Yeah.
Once again,
Yeah.
apathy.
Yeah.
People get apathetic. They just don't care.
Yeah.
Unless it touches them personally. Mail-in ballots. I mean, the Democrats have used it very effectively. Republicans never did.
Mm-hmm.
They felt it could be altered. Probably can. I won't go into our
debacle. Come on, let's go into that debacle.
No, I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
But
on that note, I'm sorry to interrupt, but did you see where the Supreme Court now has ruled that they're going to take up the fact that ballots should be not counted after Election Day?
yeah,
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now think about
should have
it.
been that way for the past few years.
Think about it. If that were the case, we would have an entirely different face of Will County with Republican candidates in charge and in office, myself being one of them. If you weren't allowed to just count thousands of ballots after Election Day, that came from God only knows where. But yeah, I thought that was, hopefully the Supreme Court will rule on that. I don't think voting should last. It shouldn't be a season.
The Supreme Court is made up primarily of Democrats or Republicans.
Well, was it the federal Supreme Court or the Illinois?
I thought you were talking about the state.
I thought it was the federal, actually. I could be wrong. Yeah, I could be wrong.
The state's Democrat.
State's Democrat, yeah. And we definitely have some problems there.
And not to crap on your point, but wasn't there
Are you telling me?
I believe U.S. representative from the state of Illinois, who his entire campaign, he put out one robocall.
Who?
Jesse Jackson.
No.
Yeah.
Who was it?
Jesse Jackson Jr.
Gee, I wonder
He
what.
put out one robocall. That was all he did.
Yep.
And then wasn't he prosecuted for having millions of dollars worth of
He did some jail time, I believe.
Yeah, he did. Surprisingly.
movie number?
His wife might have too.
Yeah, it was the U.S. Supreme Court. I wanted to make sure on that. It was the U.S. Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Allow Mike Boost, B-O-S-T, to challenge how Illinois Supreme Court. Is that IT? Is that IT?
Yes.
Huh.
I wanted to hear your thoughts on the new stadium for
JCA?
Yeah. Good idea, bad idea. I've heard mixed reviews.
Someone did bring up we should talk about Jan Quillman. If you happen to see her video of how she treated that poor Ryan Quigley, she was very disrespectful to the poor guy from JCA who was just up there to, talk about wanting to build an addition to Joliet Catholic Academy. Great school. And they want to build a, $15, $20 million sports complex there right by the school. And but Jan Quillman was way out of line the way she spoke down to this individual and just treated him poorly. And
who's going to pay for it?
They have donors, I think they have like 10, 12 million. I think a young lady left them like 6 million.
Wow.
They're saying it's going to cost 15, 20 million. I doubt that, personally speaking. 15, 20 million doesn't buy you much of anything nowadays. I think it'll probably be 2 times that.
What about the people living in the neighborhood around it?
I think there was some concern from the neighborhood people. They can get 1,000 people at these games, and that's a lot of cars coming and going. And they only have 6, 8 home games a year, but there's going to be other facilities there for baseball. And so yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to bring a lot of traffic to the neighborhood. But it was voted through. I think it's going to happen. I think it's a great addition for Joliet Catholic Academy. Is it Pat Mudrin? Is that Pat Mudrin?
Yeah.
Pat? Yeah.
Yep.
Kind of came out and chastised Jan Coleman for the way she treated that Ryan Quigley. And I've met Ryan Quigley. He's a great guy. You're just not going to find a nicer guy. Why she treated him that way was totally disrespectful. But I think Pat Mudrin kind of dressed Jan down a little bit, and she had it coming. I don't know what she was thinking. Maybe she was just having a bad
Is she
day.
normally like that, or is this?
Yeah, no, she's always kind of goofy.
I don't remember.
Yeah, no, she's always kind of a very self-confident individual, which, yeah. But she treated them bad. But no, I think that JCA project is a great project. I think, the neighborhood really should have the final say. That's kind of their backyard. And I think people did come out against it, but hopefully they addressed their issues. And look, it's a Catholic school in Joliet. Got a great history, and I hope they continue on.
They always used the Joliet Stadium, Memorial Stadium, didn't they? What was wrong with that? There was inadequate seating or something?
Yeah.
Well, the seating is plenty, but you have to transport your kids all the time. They're always running back and forth for everything, and it's not. I played at JUCO and we used that field, so it was a pain in the hind end to go over there to haul all your stuff. And Joliet Catholic games were the same way. The kids that were on our team, they didn't like having to drive back and forth. And after the games, the locker rooms there are small, and it usually were freezing cold. I mean, if it was 0 out, it was 0 in those locker rooms, and they weren't nice. They were dirty, and now maybe they've upgraded them since then, and they're a lot better than they were way back then. But it would be nice. I mean, if you're at that school, you would like to be there. Why wouldn't you? Why would you want to have to drive to go to do stuff? Have it right there in your own school. And living in Wilmington, my mom lives about 3 blocks from the high school, and people in Wilmington, they live for Friday night football games.
100%. 100%.
And they have a Friday night football game in your neighborhood. People go out in their backyards. They put their lawn chairs out, and they'll watch the game from their backyards.
Yeah.
And it's not that big a deal. Like you say, there's only so many home games a year.
It's 6 or 8 games,
And
and
it's not
2 or
like
3
you're,
are
like,
going to,
till midnight. And most of those games are over,
8, 9 o'clock.
yeah, it's all done. Everybody's out of there. I think most of the neighborhood would, unless you're somebody that's really elderly and you go to bed early and you don't like the traffic. It's not.
Yeah.
A deal.
I think you bring up a good point. And I think there was a lot of people who made the argument they like Joliet Stadium and the history's there, and they've been doing it forever. But, there again, Joliet Catholic Academy was down to 539 students. That's pretty tight. That's pretty tight. So
Almost half of them.
We have a guest on board.
we do. We dialed in. Hey,
Tech support.
and you're on the phone?
He's on the phone.
Yeah, I can't hear you guys though. You're all kind of garbled.
Where'd you
Can
go?
you hear me?
We can.
I'm in the next room.
Oh, well, talk louder. Then we could hear you. So you
Can you
can't
hear me
hear us.
now?
That's the problem.
Now I can hear you now.
All right. That's pretty cool.
Didn't you have something to say about people being released?
Safety Act?
Safety Act?
Well, I think you guys covered it already. I mean, I can't believe that anyone thinks it's okay for somebody to have 9 open criminal cases and be released out onto the streets.
Yeah.
Someone would have to tell me why they think that that's okay. But I think we're backtracking here. I just had a couple things on the JCA Stadium. I think one of the reasons they want the JCA Stadium is that
You can come in here and take my seat.
Yeah.
Come in here and take my seat. Because I got to get up and drink beer anyhow.
Because you're kind
Give me one too, would you?
Put my coat on if you want.
At least on here, you were raising up a little bit.
oh, okay.
No, I'm good.
So the JCA Stadium, my understanding, one of the reasons. Oh. One of the reasons they want it is because they believe that it will help them with their enrollment.
Okay.
That they have I think this was brought up the other night at the city council meeting, that they have the most football state championships in the entire state.
Oh, they are dynamite.
And they
You
do
mean
not
you're
have
helping with their recruitment. They have
Correct.
better stadiums so they can recruit.
They recruit all of their students.
They recruit all their athletes.
They
too.
recruit all of their students.
You're coming from
because
somebody
they have
who's
to.
Catholic,
not
but
just
I
Catholic.
also coach, and so I see it 2A, 3A, 4A every year that the Catholic schools usually win the state championships, and we've lost Wilmington kids to Catholic High. And if Wilmington was take one kid from Coal City, we have to include Coal City's whole enrollment into our school.
If you're a parent and you have a kid that's gifted athletically, I would understand why they'd want them to go to Catholic High, because you're going to have more colleges looking over Catholic High football players,
Sure
for
they do.
instance, with the possibility of a full ride scholarship versus
Yeah,
nothing
coming out of
against
the
Coal
school
City
that-
or Wilmington, but
But I will tell you, those student athletes at JCA, I knew many of them because we spent 8 years there with our two sons, and those kids, because they needed financial support, they worked at that school. It was not a free ride for them to attend Catholic High.
Mhm.
They worked. They did the work program. They were there after school. They were doing what needed to be done to make sure that they could get that education at Joliet Catholic Academy.
And by and large, no matter how good of an athlete they were all good kids.
Yeah.
And they were good kids.
Yeah.
When I was playing at JUCO, there was a whole pile of Catholic High, a lot of Catholic League school kids there. If you were a good athlete at that time and you didn't get a Division I scholarship or some bigger school, almost all the kids would go to JUCO because they had a really good football program. You could play 2 years, and then somebody, Illinois State or somebody would see you and pick you up, and you would get a scholarship. We had, I'll bet you, at least 10 guys from Catholic High on our football team, and they were all super, super nice guys. They were all very polite. You could tell they were coached well. Well, my dad was coached by Gordy Gillespie, and Gordy was coaching at Catholic High at the time, and we were good friends with Gordy, and I know what kind of a program Gordy had, at Catholic High and at St. Francis. Those guys were all top-notch human beings on top of everything else. And if I was somebody that had a kid, I'm not saying it's wrong. If I had a chance for my kid to go play for Gordy Gillespie or play at a high school, maybe had a crappy team or didn't have a very good coach, and Gordy Gillespie wanted my kid be going, coached by Gordy Gillespie. Heck yeah.
But I think it was also brought up at the city council meeting that maybe it was by Pat Mudron, I can't remember, but again, JCA has the most state championships in Illinois, and yet they're in their conference. I don't know if it's in the state. They're the only ones that do not have their own stadium. Now, I am not a proponent of the stadium. I would not have voted for the stadium, but
Why? Why?
Economics. I think $20 million, you have 500 students in the school.
Yes. Elsewhere.
Yeah. But again, on the other side of the coin, the students are not paying for that stadium. It's donated money from people who want to see the stadium. So if they want it, fine. The other problem I have is with a comment I think that Jan Quillman made. She talked about the people in the neighborhood, and I do feel for them. They're very tight streets over there. And I feel for the residents that live there. But she made a comment about how their property value was going to go down, and what it was going to do to their streets, and their sidewalks are terrible. Well, Jan Quillman, you've been on the city council for 20 years. What have you done to make sure that those sidewalks have gotten taken care of? Obviously nothing, because you said that they are terrible.
The other thing was when you build a complex like that too, now you got the next 50 years, you got to take care of it.
Correct.
And that money is not small amounts. Every time you got to replace lights or redo something on the field, or the stands are bad.
Right.
Because Wilmington and all the old schools are going through that all the time. And it's, it comes out to hundreds of thousands of dollars just to replace the lights in the field. Yeah, we did in Wilmington. they had to fundraise for that for I don't know how long, but that's another
Right.
problem you got to look at. Once you build it, you got to take
Right.
care of it.
Yes. Yes.
But your point, well taken. If that stadium, the new stadium, brings in additional students, revenue, where maybe it's going to pay for itself for all these additional costs that they might incur.
You know, I think they have to pay to use the Joliet Stadium too. I
Yes.
don't think it's free.
It's a minor amount.
It's about $3,500 a year.
Oh, that's it.
That's it.
So it goes back to, for the people that are making these donations, are they making the donations for the school itself, or was it based on only if you improve the football
I believe it was
program?
for the stadium.
Okay.
I was sat on the JCA board for a few years, and they had their capital campaign for the new gym that they built.
What does it cost to go to Catholic High at this time?
All I know is when my oldest graduated in 2003, it was $5,000 a year. When my youngest graduated in 2015, it was $10,000 a year. So
Oh,
that was
wow.
10 years ago. So I don't know what it costs now, but it's a lot of money. It's a lot to.
That's why the dwindling enrollment.
I
Probably for a
not
good
only
portion
that,
of it.
But your state legislature and governor took out there was a program where people could donate to
Empower Illinois.
Empower Illinois, where people could donate money to a fund where that fund could be used for people that met certain economic needs where they could not cover a private tuition to go to a parochial school, private school, charter school, whatever. That then those donations would be a tax credit on your Illinois state taxes. So if you wanted to donate $1,000 to this fund, you could take $1,000 off your tax.
No, it wasn't a credit. I think it was a deduction. You could take like 75% of it. So if you gave $1,000, you could deduct $750 off of your income and then not be taxed on it.
But the teachers union didn't.
Whoa, that surprises
And
me.
the Chicago Archdiocese did not fight it. They took it away. They canceled the program, and after that, enrollment started to dwindle in the parochial school.
Wow.
Wilmington lost theirs. We had St. Rose School.
Mm-hmm.
It finally closed. They fought like crazy to keep it going. They had all kinds of donations coming in, but it just wasn't financially. They just couldn't keep it up.
Didn't they transfer some of the students that were at St. Rose to St. Joe's School in
I think if they wanted to, they were moving kids around if they thought that they still wanted, but there's no bus systems and
that's
stuff
true.
like that. So
Parents
most
would
of
have
the
to
parents,
drive
I mean, if the parents had the means and they didn't work and they had a good car, but it's not close. There
Right.
weren't any schools like that where they could just run
Right.
right into another
Yes.
school. So most of them just went right into public school. The school's still there. It's sitting empty and they'll use it every once in a while. They use the gym for like Kuzma when they're giving out food for Christmas and things like that. A lot of times they'll move all that into the gym so it's space that they can use the food. So they are still utilizing it, but the school's sitting there empty now.
Not just here, because even where tech support went to school recent.
In St. Louis, their school
See,
just closed.
That was the feeder, like we said, we lost Wilmington kids going to play sports at the other schools. Most of them were Catholic kids that fed from St. Rose School and went to Providence or went. I got a couple of good buddies. One of them was a really good wrestler, and they had two boys, and they both went to Providence. Were great wrestlers at Providence. And, we're in town going, because our wrestling team was really good. There's two of them, but they were St. Rose kids, and their family was one of the families that were fighting to keep St. Rose open, and I just couldn't save it.
So what were you so animated about earlier today?
You have to give me more information than that. Yeah, I
down.
can't remember now. I
Okay.
was trying to think of it when you were talking about that before. It's not hard to get me going.
Okay. Well, thank you. We need Dr. Riley back.
Yes. I'm
Right.
freezing. I'm freezing.
Yeah, no, thank you for the break. My stomach's killing me. I
Did
don't
you
know
pay your
why.
gas
You know,
bill this month?
yeah. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Jesus.
I was worried over there. She's kind of going to be, how quickly she replaced me there. I kind of, kind of thought I was special, but apparently not, huh? Yeah.
That'll teach you to give up your chair.
Yeah, I must say.
She's getting the recipe for that bread from Tina. You're in trouble.
Yeah. I was over there like holding, my stomach hurts. I don't know what the hell's going on. But yeah.
Is there anything that you want to get off your mind?
No. I kind of hope this podcast evolves into people have asked me,
make people question.
Well,
things.
People have asked me, what are you guys all about? And, I just hope we always kind of just stay that podcast of a couple guys sitting around drinking beer, talking about the truth as we know it. And if along the way we can bring a couple, misdeeds or truth out to the public,
How would somebody, let's just say there is somebody out there that says, I think this is an awesome idea. I got some opinions too. How do they get on? How would they?
So we're on Facebook, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple, and you can definitely post on our link. And we wound up setting on a date where, you could come out and talk, and we're going to put them out.
Kind of said you don't want to be that podcast that only has one opinion one way, and all four of us are all doing the same thing. We're all having the same opinion. You want to bring in other opinions on stuff. We don't want to be the Republican. I'm an independent voter most of the time. I vote for whoever I think is going to be doing the best job for me and my family in the United States of America. And if it happened to be a Democrat, I'd vote for him.
Yeah.
And I think if all of us had that same opinion, and these idiot left wingers would see that some of them aren't so good, maybe you should vote for a Republican every once in a while. We got a really rotten Republican candidate running. I might not vote for him.
Sure.
I might not vote at all.
Sure.
So why not take that opinion from other people as well and feed in? If there's somebody out there that has opinions similar to us and want to see Will County and everybody else do well.
Hey, Steve, I encourage that. I encourage
email
that.
Address on our YouTube channel.
There is an email address. You monitor that? Yeah. Somebody does? IT does?
You're supposed to monitor.
I monitor. Yeah, well, I could tell you a story about how well I monitor stuff that got me in trouble last week. But I hope we stay that way, Steve. I mean, really, I would love to have somebody come on the other side of that aisle and sit where you're at and kind of tell me their version, and that really feels that. Yeah,
I changed my opinion a lot.
Yes, yeah. No, I agree with you. And maybe we don't know everything we think we know, or maybe we do have bad information from who we got it from.
Yep.
So I would encourage people who are, unlike-minded to come on.
Absolutely.
Come on board. We want to hear what you have to say. Enlighten us, or maybe we enlighten you, maybe the other way around. As we move forward, we are getting a lot of people reaching out who do want to come on the podcast. It's really starting to catch on. I mentioned 18,000 views in the last few weeks. So it's just a couple guys sitting around talking, having fun, drinking a few beers. And I'm amazed how it's kind of catching on and people are talking about it. And I hope we just stay doing this. I hope it never changes. And I'm with you. I don't always want it to be a conservative talk show. I think collectively we probably are that way, but
truth. That's right.
We just want the truth.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you don't want some wingnut coming on that's crazy as hell before you're going to end up getting a fist fight with some guy. But it's like you say, you go and sit in the bar sometime and you got 4 or 5 different people around the bar and you all start talking about stuff. It gets interesting. You want those opinions.
I think there's absolutely room to have reasonable discussion.
Exactly.
Amongst people who don't agree.
Right.
But then to discuss things amicably, and at the end of the day, you're laughing and joking and
one of our late
should be that way.
Screaming at one another.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah. I can't remember if I brought it up on the podcast or at a function I was at the other day. I said, when we're in political season, though, for me, in my position, I do feel like, my job is to help fellow conservative and fellow Republicans to get elected, because I feel like the Republican Party is a better answer than the Democrat Party right now. So I kind of feel like we're at battle. So you won't see me go to a Democratic event. You won't see me, supporting a Democrat in any way during election season. But for the good of the county and the good of the people, once the election is over and the people have spoken, that's when the walls have to come down and the fences have to come down, and then those elected officials are to work together and find common ground for the good of the people.
Let me point out one thing.
That's lost. It's lost now.
I feel like we've lost that. I feel like
shit,
we've
all you
lost
got to
you.
do is look at the votes that
You-
like for this that I had written down. Almost every single Democrat voted against just saying that you should be a citizen to vote.
Yeah.
I mean, how hard is that? We can't even do that.
You have pointed out certain Democrats that you were in agreement with. So in
Jimmy Glasgow.
Jimmy Glasgow comes also, correct me if I'm wrong, when the vote was taken on the board here several weeks ago, there was one Democrat,
Destiny Ortiz.
and you were complimentary about saying how brave that was.
She did the right thing. She came over and voted not to raise taxes, and I have a lot of respect for that.
So you can't, when you make you made a broad statement, and I'm just trying to correct it. You will, when someone does something that is right, in your opinion, you bring it out. So,
of course. No, of course. No, you should. And I think that's, when you have that security as a person, you don't have to cheat to win. You don't have to bring down, I think you have to point out your flaws of your rivals or your, opponent. But, you don't need to cheat.
Yeah.
Not promote the guy, who should be promoted just so you can keep your position in office. That's cheating in my book.
One thing that was brought to my attention, Julie, there is a Republican running for the county board that is not really truly a Republican. Mostly this person's going to be on the ballot on the March 17th ballot.
That's that Muggsy Gallagher for Manhattan or something, right?
Well,
there's
allegedly
speculation.
He's always pulled a Democratic ballot. Now, maybe he's seen the light and saw that maybe the right way to go is to vote for a Republican, platform or issues. I don't know. But supposedly he's a Democrat running on the Republican ticket, which is...
We can't do that. We can't take that risk when that Will County.
Legally, you can.
Well, no, you can do that. But I'm just saying for the voters of Will County, you can't do that because that board is 11-11 right now. We have 22 county board members, and it's literally split 11-11. And then the final, if there is a tie on something, it goes to Jennifer Bertino-Tarrant. And we all know she tends to lean left as a Democrat. So you can't take that risk of finding out, if Muggsy Gallagher is or not a real Republican. I don't know. And I don't, And the problem, for Muggsy, as I see it, and I don't even know the guy. Maybe I've met him. I'm not sure.
I've
But
met him.
have you met him? Nice enough guy.
Yeah.
The problem in that county district, on that county board, we have two fantastic Republican candidates. We have Frankie Pretzel and Judy Ogalla. Solid Republicans who are out there fighting not to raise taxes and out there fighting to support law enforcement. Those are two people I highly respect and highly, admire. We can't risk not reelecting those two people to the board. So, if you're a voter of Will County and you're asking me and probably you, we just hope you vote for Judy Ogalla and Frankie Pretzel because we don't want to risk losing those on the board. We can't lose one Republican on that county board.
Love to have them stop in for a podcast.
They wanted to. I told them no. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. No, no. We could talk to Judy and Frankie. They probably would come on. They're two great conservatives, two great Republican candidates, and hopefully, hopefully people will continue to support them. I think they're pretty well liked.
Love to hear what they have to say regarding getting along with the other board members as well as the Will County executive.
Yeah. Well, and Muggsy's welcome to come here too. Again, I don't know if he wants to come on here and tell us what happened or why he thinks he's a Republican now or should be elected as a Republican candidate. We'd love to hear what he's got to say. He's welcome to.
Sure.
Right, Steve?
I think so. You have to. It's the only way you get to know these people.
Yeah.
You need to get them on there and ask them questions. Because like you said, you can't, newspapers, you see an ad, you can't afford TV. So how do you get to know these people?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, this is a great forum for any political candidate running for office.
It's the only one way that you, without going to, maybe they have a town hall meeting where you can go in and talk to them. How else would you know?
Well, and I just said 18,000 views on our last podcast. Mailers are about 75 cents a piece. So right there, that would be, $12,000 worth of advertisement you would get by coming on this show.
And people get those mailers, they see a picture, they don't know
throw them
who you
away.
are, they just chuck them right in the
Throw 'em away.
garbage. Where you can sit there and listen to somebody, ask them questions where you can actually get an answer from them saying, hey, what do you think about this? And what are you going to do about taxes? Or what are you going to do about law enforcement? That way,
Yes.
you know, when you walk in there, that's what I was saying. When I'm usually in the middle where I don't like to declare Republican or Democrat, because if I walk in and I look at a ballot and I don't know who either one of those two people are, and one of them could be a complete idiot, I'm not voting for it.
Have you not voted? Yeah.
Yeah, I won't
I-
mark one of those
I
names
skipped
because I don't want to take the chance of voting for somebody that's an idiot.
No.
And if I walk in and I see this guy is a Republican, I know he's just no freaking good, or lady, whatever it is, I won't vote for that.
And
person.
that does
I'm not
happen
going to do
with
it.
Republicans. Sometimes
Sure it
you get a
does.
Yeah.
flawed candidate.
But if you
Yeah.
can sit there and actually ask somebody the questions, or you can at least hear what their whole deal is. What
Sure.
do you like? What do you think is the way we should be running our county?
Yeah.
At least you can make an educated decision then.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You know, you bring up another great point in the sense that I just got a questionnaire from the Herald News. So you fill out these questionnaires and then you send them back and then they put it in the newspaper. Well, who the hell knows who wrote that answer to that questionnaire, right? You don't know who put that in. You know, it could have been a campaign manager. It could have been handed to a secretary.
You don't know.
You know, and having someone come on our show where you're looking at a face and a body and you're hearing their voice and you can record it, you can play it back, we can hold them liable. You know, I mean, there is a lot to be said about that.
It's the way to do it.
Yeah.
I know I've had, like with Nelson's Furniture, occasionally we would have people come in and do stories about us, so the local newspapers and stuff like that. And I would do interviews with these people. And then, like when I was retiring, I had like 4 or 5 different people call me and ask me for stories for retirement kind of stuff. And then when it actually is printed in the newspaper and it comes out, you go, where in the hell was that at?
Where did
I
that
didn't
go?
tell you that shit, you know?
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
wonder, and I caught one of them where they went back and was pulling interviews up that my dad had maybe done or I had done 15 years ago, and they were pulling stuff out of that I did not even say. I called them and said, "Hey,
Yeah.
you know, I did the interview with you, and I bet you $100 if you go back and I check your tape
Yeah.
you were doing that day, that stuff's not in it."
Right. Right.
They were pulling stuff from years ago that they had and were using it in these stories. And so again, even with the newspaper, you don't know what the heck
Yeah,
they're doing.
yeah.
It's whoever was writing the story. It's what they want to put in it. But
Yeah.
if you got them here and you're asking them a question and they're answering it, brother, you know
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah,
It's truth
we get
coming
to play
out.
that back and forth and hold them
Uh-huh.
accountable. And and what you talk about is Chat GPT, you know, because once that gets printed, it goes on the internet. Now that's a reference for whatever, you know, artificial intelligence, you know,
Yeah.
query that tries to go back. I'm worried about the future a little bit there, that we're kind of creating an artificial world, and maybe for the better. Who knows?
Well, I know one thing. If I was a politician and I was trying to get my word out there, and if there were some really good podcasts where you could go on and tell your story your way,
Yeah.
rather than having some newspaper putting something in there, whether you don't know if it's true or not true, and that's the way to do it.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. How many people again?
How many of these politicians now, if you look and they're doing Megan Fox's show and, you know, Rogan, I mean, they're all out there running because they got billions of viewers now,
Yeah.
and they can actually tell this is what I want to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't listen to Channel 5 at the news tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to what I'm telling you.
Yeah, you know, and the other thing about politics, people don't always talk about the rumor mills and the dark campaign and the falsehoods that are put out there. I mean, certainly I've been victim to that, where, you know, people come up to me and say, "Oh, we heard, you know, this," and I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
It's just set the record
It is,
straight.
yeah. Yeah. So if you have a message you want to get out, you know, this is what, you know, podcast, who's ever, you know, again, I'll give a shout out to JV. They seem like they're really trying to do a good job and get the message out. And there's a couple other podcasts out there. So, Doc, are we going to just keep recording the whole night long, or?
I would just like to point out that that tech support is not here when we need tech support.
Something happened? Did we fall apart?
Oh,
You put her on the podcast and she leaves. That's,
I
yeah.
believe that she is
Start
taking
paying
care
her
of
more,
a
will you?
puppy right
Oh, the puppy, yes.
Puppies. Yeah.
Incredible.
Raise her wages.
Yep. Stevie Nelson.
get a hold of these guys. Get a hold of us. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Get because it's always nice for the 4 of us to get together, the 3 is get together, whatever the number is, and you start talking about stuff. But you need to get that influx of a different opinion, and if we can help somebody out too that's running for office that could use a boost,
Sure.
get
Sure.
all of us.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll even take it a step further. Business, if you want to come out and talk about your business that's doing great or bad, maybe you're
Yeah, what's
struggling because
working?
what's working, what's not working. If you got a topic, if you're anything you want to talk about.
Business is hurting all over the county.
Yeah.
Businesses have been hurting and for a little while.
God, what
Business guys, you start getting business guys like me involved, and then now you're going, okay, this went up, this went up, this went up, all these things went up. They just start taxing us on this. They just raised this tax. It's been an absolute killer, and you get business guys involved with
Yeah.
start talking about it. You get them on a roll, how bad uh, you know things have gotten, but everybody hopefully you look at what Trump's doing, you're hoping that a lot of it works.
I saw the other day, and I might have this quote messed up, but it was 1 in 4 businesses or storefronts in Chicago is closed now. 1 in 4.
I heard it was 30%.
Yeah. Okay. So right around that number. Yeah.
I mean, commercial spaces.
Yeah. Dead.
Not a good thing.
Yeah. I think that's kind of a concerning number going forward.
Most small businesses,
Small towns too.
yeah, small town. It's hard. It's
Open,
very, very
vacant
difficult to make it,
storefronts.
and it doesn't matter what you're doing. We have kind of our fingers in 3 different venues where we kind of know the restaurant business a little bit, the bar, and then the furniture and small town. And a lot of my reps are all Chicago guys, so you talk to them on what's going on, in Midwest and some of the bigger companies like Ashley and these guys, what's going on across the country, and they're all like, it's not very good. It's not very good. Nobody's really doing good.
Right.
You're sliding along, basically. You don't want to spend any money on improvements. You don't want to spend any money over here because you don't know what's going to break down. Furnace just went down. Oh, crap. There goes $8,000.
Am I going to lose my job? If I keep my job, does this mean I'm going to have the same amount of overtime, or is that going to be cut back? All these things enter into the decision
And when
making.
it's slow like that, like when it's cold like this, people don't take it into consideration. Like we might have 4 or 5 people normally working at Nellie's today. Well, when it's 20 below 0, there is nobody going out.
No.
So we had 2 employees today. We cut it down to 2. So there was 3 people who would normally work today, and they'll
Yeah.
close early tonight. So that's going to cut hours down. The bar is going to
Sure.
close early. Nelson's closed early. It's too cold. People ain't coming out. It's
Right.
dangerous. And we don't want our employees out traveling at night when it's like this anyway. So,
Right.
all those little factors, when it
That's right.
snows real hard, well, there goes another day. Nobody's coming in, and you got to cut the employees back. And then now the employees aren't getting their hours in, and it all feeds into the system. So when things are slow, like the delivery drivers with food, one of those guys was in on Tuesday, and I was talking to him. He's like, "Oh, it just sucks," And these guys get paid by how much food they're delivering.
Oh, they were saying their route was down?
Oh yeah, like the restaurants are doing no business.
Wow.
So these guys are hurting now too. They're like, I don't deliver enough food.
Sure.
Well, the cost
it's
of
all
going out to eat any.
Yeah.
all the costs. Like for
just
the
all
restaurants like
standard.
us, our
Yeah.
our
People don't even
costs
go out to eat it.
have just skyrocket, and you can't raise the price of food enough in the restaurant to cover half.
Yeah.
And then what happens in between was like all of a sudden you get a spike in the hell was it the other day, like chicken wings or some doggone thing. And so we're
And
we're
you
looking
have
at the
great wings
bills.
too. I want to. Those are great wings at your
Well,
restaurant.
if they don't quit raising the price, you might not see them anymore because they're going to cost you $20 to eat chicken wings, but they'll spike,
Yeah.
horribly. And as a small business, you can't change all your menus and
No.
change stuff all the time, and so you just eat it. You're
Yeah.
just always eating
Yeah.
all that stuff constant. Like when grain goes up and we're making beer,
Yeah.
well, all of a sudden a beer that costs you this to make it, the last time you bought grain, it might have been double.
Oh,
So now you're like, oh, what the hell? You can't go and say, okay, all the beers are going to go up $1.
yeah.
You just eat it. You're
Yeah.
always eating all these expenses, and then you hope that it goes back down. But it's really hard on these small businesses
Sure.
when that goes on. You can't make it money.
Yeah.
So anybody that's out there listening, when you can go and support,
Local.
the small restaurants, the
Mm.
small places that are small brewery like we would have, anything that you got out there that's local, go support those guys, especially in the winter because it's slow.
Yeah.
It's really slow right now.
Yeah,
Everybody's dying.
Great point. Great point.
Yeah, and the
Especially
colder the weather, the worse the weather, the worse it gets.
And especially when you're working on a margin of
Oh,
a
it's
couple
like
percent,
nothing.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, and when people use their credit cards and at the end of the month, Tina will come in and go, "Yeah, I just had to send Visa a check for $3,000." You're like, "Are you freaking kidding me?"
Mm.
And then when you go into a restaurant or a bar now and they go, "Well, we're not taking Visa. If you are, we're going to charge you the extra 2% because we can't afford to eat that
3,000-4,000. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Adds up.
constant. It
Yeah.
adds up.
what do you think of as a restaurant owner of the restaurants that have the
Automatic service.
Visa? We're going to charge you 3.5 extra percent. Then
Yeah.
we're going to put on
Service fee.
a service fee and then a hospitality fee.
The only reason they're
This-
doing it is because
and then
food
you're supposed
costs.
to tip on top of that.
Mhm.
Yeah, the food costs have gone up just so. Well, everybody knows that. You go to the grocery store, it's like, how the hell did we have? Where did this come from? In the restaurants, is the same way. So rather than say I had a hamburger that was $4 and now it's going to be $8, well, nobody's going to come and eat.
Yeah.
So everybody's trying to keep their prices so they're not just skyrocketing and clip a percent or two somewhere else.
Yeah.
This is the only way they're staying open. A lot of places.
I'll tell you something we ran into one night. I was with Jim. He ordered a pizza. I won't mention the place.
Yeah.
It was to go. We didn't go in there. He went inside to get the pizza to go. He automatically got charged an 18%
Last week.
service. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
see, that's not right.
there was no server involved.
Mm,
This is, and as a result, it was an interesting thing for me. All I did was mentally make a note. I'd buying a pizza.
Well, what just happened, boss? After our last podcast, we stuck around and we were editing the podcast and we ordered a local pizza.
Yeah.
Large, extra large, maybe. I think it was 1 or 2 toppings.
2 toppings.
Had it delivered here. Any idea what that cost?
For the delivery,
One pizza.
For the whole pizza.
$24.
$50.
$50.
$50. Extra large pizza delivered out here.
Oh,
There's a $7 or $8 service fee. There was an automatic tip on there. There was a delivery. I think the pizza was $28, but everything else, 50. It was over 50. Now that I think about it.
God love it. My wife, she takes the frozen pizza and throws it in the oven.
Yeah. Yeah.
3 Jack's pizzas for $9.90.
Yeah.
Sometimes too, what they're doing is, which I don't like, is the tips.
Yep.
You have to ask where the tips are going because there are some places who are keeping the tips instead of taking them and giving them to the employees. Where both of our places, we have a tip
They
jar
would
on the
turn me
counter.
off too.
So
Yeah.
if you can throw cash in there, that's always best.
Yeah,
And
I
if you have
can-
to put it on your credit card, go ahead and do it. Because at the end of the night, like my wife Tina, she separates all that out and it all goes to the employees. But a lot of places now are not. They're
I'm,
keeping that.
Don't.
I can't help. No. It's nothing against
Oh.
what Steve said, but for me as just a consumer, I would rather not have to deal with it. I don't want to ask that. I don't want to pay. I always pay 20%, and yet personally, I don't like paying a tip. But put it into the price of the food. I don't want to have to be, like, gee, how much should it be? I just make one payment. Have the tip included in there for the employees.
There's been some restaurants in New York that tried to do that.
Never worked. Huh?
Freakonomics had enough. And it seemed like a really good idea. And people seem to really like it.
Yeah.
And it just,
Other
Makes it
IT
sound-
person.
They're
Yeah.
always raising a fee of some sorts on the businesses, and she's
Yeah.
always calling them.
Yeah.
Wailing about them. But
I feel bad for the server because obviously they never got that $10 tip I left. And I even thought maybe it was going to be a separate line item
Yeah.
on my credit card, and it wasn't.
I think
So it's a
so
better, more of
bad
an
now.
argument for, like you're saying, leave cash.
It's so bad now with you don't know what's going on with all this crap. From what I'm hearing, like Trump was trying to get it so that you're not going to tax on tips. But I had also heard in Illinois that JB wasn't going to allow that. Illinois, they're still pulling.
He did overturn it.
Yeah,
They're still in Illinois State.
There's
You'll-
another reason that just like JB. He's any way you can get $1 out of somebody, and here these poor waitresses are trying to make a living out of what they're doing, and the state's still stealing their money, where at least the feds are trying to leave it alone. But the best way of doing that is I carry 1s, 5s, and 10s in my wallet on purpose for tips.
Yeah.
Leave it at the table.
Leave it at the table. Yeah.
Leave it on the bar, leave it at the table. Don't put it on the credit.
And let's face it, that server would rather put that in their pocket and go home that night than wait for a paycheck 3 weeks down the road where they may or may not get the tip.
The other thing is too, and I don't, every restaurant I think is different. Bars are different. Like if you had a server and you gave her, say, a $10 tip, she sticks it in her pocket. They're still supposed to take that $10 back and throw it in a pot. And at the end of the night, you're supposed to split that.
Depending on the restaurant.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
It depends on where you're working at.
Yeah.
And if it's on the Visa, it's the same way. So when those Visa bills at the end of the night, if there's $400 in tips in that Visa bill, it's supposed to be split between the people there. And sometimes they split it with the kitchen help too, because they're not out working amongst people, so they split those too.
Yeah.
So it depends on where you're going.
Yeah. Because to that, I know the waiter or waitress staff will throw the cook a 20 at the end of the night, because they're going to take care of you and you take care of them
properly. And like I was at a little drive through in Joliet the other day, and there's a particular lady that works at this place, and she's always so nice and she's very good. Well, they're not getting any tips. They're working as a drive-up window, and even the people at the counter, for the most part, they're not getting tips. And so I threw her $10 and folded it up and stuck it to us. Stick that in your pocket. That's for you. You do a great job. She grabbed that money and it was in that pocket right now. I know she got that tip.
There's
ways to do it.
Good way to do it. Yeah, for sure.
Let them know that they are appreciated, especially like a day like today, and they're working that drive-up window at McDonald's. We went over to Dairy Queen one night. It was freezing cold, and these poor girls were freezing their asses off, and they're in there, opening the window, trying to shut them as fast as they can. Then they're in there working with ice cream, so I had,
because you're the guy buying ice cream when it's 20 below.
At 10 o'clock at night on a Sunday. So it was I know there were 2 high school girls in there, so I slipped them $10. You guys split that $10, right? That went right in their pocket. That way, they're getting that stuff.
Yeah,
they're getting it.
Going to the right place. Well, everybody, unless we got something else, what do you got, Doc? No, everything good?
I'm waiting to try that bread. You're still sitting upright.
I'd hold off. I'm just saying. No, it's great. I'm just teasing.
That's the last thing you're getting.
No. I'm kidding. It's fantastic. I'm just teasing you. She knows better.
We've got to have our IT person try that.
Yeah. For sure.
IT was here when the power went up.
Yeah, way to go, IT. Yeah. So, no, good.
You're wrapping up?
Okay.
Yes.
All right, everybody. Thank you for today. And
hopefully our cars start when we go out.
Yeah, Dr. Egan, thank you again for everything. Mr. Dick Tyler, thank you. Stevie, thank you, sir. Steve Nelson, thanks for coming out.
Keep inviting me. I love it.
Yeah, definitely will. And IT,
what can we say?
We much prefer when you're here. Let's thank you for everything, but don't ever get in my spot again. So, okay. Thank you, everybody.